everyone. Welcome to our Cosmic Weather Report Live. My name is Marcella Eversole, and we'll be featuring Soul Level Astrologer Mark Borax today. And he'll be delving into some of the cosmic weather for this month of November 2023. One piece that he'll be touching on is what he's titling the Saturn Recall during the Dark God's Passage, tapping the deepest source to release the truest power. And before he dives into the astrology pieces this month, I just want to thank everyone who helped and came out to our New Jersey talks, where Mark and I traveled through talking about the Ruby Heart of the Dragon, Sun Signs for Our Times, Mark's new book that was released last spring. And then for those of you that are coming into our circle, we just want to remind you we have the Sun Signs for Our Times Sagittarius class happening here at the end of the month on November 28th on Saturday, November 28th. So for any of you that would like to join us, you're welcome to join us for that deep dive into the sign of Sagittarius. And see if there's any other announcements. Well, yeah, we're just so grateful for all of you that have been supporting us. If you can and haven't already, please go ahead and click subscribe and select to get notifications so that when we come on again next month, you're reminded. So without further ado, I introduce Mark Borax.
Howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Cosmic Weather Report Live for Wednesday, November 8th, Year of the Cat, which is the Saturn Recall during the Dark God's Passage. And we're on the road in Virginia. We've been traveling down the coast from Vermont, stopping and conducting circles in which I talk about dismantling the machinery of self-negation to uncover the sweetness of life, in conjunction with my book release, The Ruby Heart of the Dragon, Sun Signs for Our Times, and my original songs, because I find that combining words with music helps to, gives the concepts a little more time to digest, mechanisms, so that the music allows for a deeper experience, perhaps, than just the talking might. And I've been noticing as we've been traveling down the coast that the pull of Saturn, in terms of recalling why you're here, each of us has made the choice to return from the oneness of spirit into the madness of matter during a crazy time in human history in which there is a loss of meaning and a lot of delusionary meanings and motivations. And the antidote for the strange changes of our current time isn't just a collective antidote, but also an individual one, in which, if you recall the reasons you chose to be alive, you can spread a different consciousness through the growing illusion of our time. And this is a heroic act of rebellion against mainstream culture, because mainstream culture is largely based on the idea that love can't happen, truth can't happen, togetherness can't happen. Mainstream culture has largely become co-opted by the military industrial complex, the intelligence agencies that now run the government, that have largely run the government ever since the CIA assassinated John F. Kennedy, when he was threatening to slash their budget and remove their power. So we have a situation here where if a single individual stands strong in the love that they are, remembering why you're here, recalling on a feeling level the enormous creative, unique expression of love that your soul came back to the physical world to embody. That's a heroic act of rebellion. And this is current because on 4 days ago, on November 4th, Saturn turned direct in the first degree of Pisces. And that's a powerful passage where Saturn rules the revelations that your soul experienced after you died in your previous life and before you were born into your current body. Your soul had some revelations as to how your most recent human life fits in with the overall arc of reincarnation from life to life to life. And in that in-between state, after you released your previous body and before you took on your current body, you and Saturn had a conference in which you looked backward at how your previous life fit into the overall scope of all your lives. And then you looked forward as to if you were going to come back, who would you be? How would you manifest that love, that creativity? And when you made a couple of vows as to why you would come back, Saturn said, got it. And Saturn holds on to those prenatal resolutions, even when your very human nature doesn't. Because, especially in today's world, very few human beings are consistently in touch with their deeper purpose and their higher nature, with the reasons why you even became human. It's much more common to be intermittently in touch with your higher nature and your deeper reasons for being born. But Saturn holds on to those powerful vibrations, choices, intentions. And when your life's path goes in alignment with the reasons you chose to be born, Saturn does everything in its power to speed your path along, to open the gates. And when your life goes against those reasons why you chose to be born, Saturn does everything in its power to put down barricades, because that's not why you said you wanted to be here. This is a different view of Saturn in soul level astrology than most traditional astrology, because most traditional astrologers look at Saturn as the outside patriarchal voice of authority, the bad guy in the melodrama that comes along and everybody hisses and boos. But here in soul level astrology, we take Rudolf Steiner's version of Saturn, which he too feels Saturn is the voice of authority, but it has nothing to do with any external authority. It's the authority of your deeper, innermost nature, the authority of your soul, your core self. And when I talk about the soul, I'm referring to the part of you that's been here before many times in many lives and chose to come back again in order to express the enormous love and cosmic forces packed deeply into you that won't normally find expression during such a time of distortion as we're currently living in. Lies, distortions, the human race on a great suicidal parade. All of that halts when an individual stops and realizes you didn't come here to make everybody else happy. You didn't come here to keep all the machinery running. You didn't come here to appease others. You didn't come here to make money at the expense of your soul. You did come here to express the unique channel of love that you are in this universe, on this earth. That is why you're here, to find the creative outlets to being true to yourself, following your own unique life art. So when Saturn goes through a kind of a big change, which it's not a big change, Saturn entering Pisces, but it's a strong medium change. Saturn turning direct in the first degree of Pisces is summoning you to remember who you are, to separate out true and false power, true and false life, and get down in to why you're even here. This is a powerful summons to live your love in your own unique way. And I'm just going to check in with Marcella to see if we have any questions or comments, or there any other ideas running through our live stream today. If you're speaking, Mom, can't hear you. Well, I'm not hearing anything from Marcella, so I'm going to assume that that there's no questions or comments right now, and I'll just keep going. Oh, here's a comment from Maritza. I agree what you explained in reference to Saturn. It was me, us individually expressing the lovely planet energy. Yeah, this is a transformative and creative way to work with authority, to work with power, because Saturn represents the power of your strongest reason for being, why you even came back. It takes a lot for the soul to emerge out of the oneness of spirit into the craziness of matter at such a transformative time on planet Earth. And anyone who's listening to me now, who's here in the body, on this side of the veil, whose soul has reincarnated, you came back for strong reasons, because this is the crossroads of human history. What we choose as a species is based on what we choose as individuals, and what we choose as individuals in the coming years is going to make all the difference as to what happens with the future, if there's even going to be a future for humanity on planet Earth. This is a real make it or break it moment, where either we wake up to the love that all things are made of and claim that and live our life on it, or we begin the long decline, the disintegration of the human species. There's a lot of forces that are vying for energy and control over our race now. World governments are in the hands of the intelligence agencies, which is, there's a misnomer because they're not intelligent at all. The intelligence agencies are psychopathic. And the only way that there's going to be a future on the other side of this crossroads is if you and I wake up and break away from the false power and claim the power of our inner truth, our inner nature, and our love, especially at this time while Pluto is struggling to enter Aquarius. It entered Aquarius in the spring, then it went back into Capricorn. In a couple months, it's going to go back into Aquarius. A few months after that, it's going to go back into Capricorn. And then finally, it's going to go into Aquarius for almost 20 years. This dark god's passage is raising powerful initiations of power in which it is imperative to separate false power from true power. And the most prominent difference between the two is that false power is needy and grabby and clutchy. It's trying to take and take and take. And authentic power is generative. It gives. It comes from the heart. It's the power of the sun. It's the creative power to grow along optimal lines. This is the wrenching initiation that we're all going through. I call this dismantling the machinery of self-negation to uncover the sweetness of life, because false power cannot control any individuals who stop negating themselves. When you awaken inwardly to realize that your inner nature is a treasure, that it is a tremendous blessing, an honor, a privilege, and a treasure for you to be alive, that this is not a limbo, this is not a punishment, this is not a jail sentence. For your soul to incarnate in the body is a tremendous blessing. And when you realize that, you stop negating yourself and you awaken to each day offering you another opportunity to express your creativity, to express your joy at being alive. This is not easy to do during a time of such distortion and darkness and threat, but you undistort the field around you when you tune in to authentic power, the power of being you, the unique creative art that your life is intended to be, and the reason why you came back. Any final things you want to add, Marcella, before we sign off?
No, I just love this powerful time that we're living through, and I appreciate all the seeds of hope that you are planting here with your words, to just keep remembering that the simple pieces, right? Just sometimes it doesn't always look like what it is on the surface, but just that simple principle that, you know, true power gives and false power takes can sometimes really help us navigate when we're not clear and trying to mine the fields of our own growth around us to get clear. So I just appreciate the tidbits you brought forward this month. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, everybody. These are good lessons to gain in the next couple of months as the year of the cat winds down to the coming year of the dragon in early February, when a lot of power is going to be released. So thank you for joining us, the CWR Live Cosmic Weather Report for Wednesday, November 8th. Year of the Cat, Saturn Recall during the Dark Gods passage. This has been Soul Level Astrologers Mark Borax, Marcella Eversole coming to you from Virginia, 8 miles away from the White House, on our way back to Vermont tomorrow. If you haven't gotten my new book, The Ruby Heart of the Dragon, you better go out there and get it and read it. I want to hear about it. I want you to email me. I'm getting a lot of beautiful emails from people around the world who have been reading the book, and some people who are reading it for the second and the third time because I wrote it that way, like Lord of the Rings or Rumi poetry, to have many different levels. Thank you for joining us, and take care until we meet again. May your karma turn to grace.